Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Yahya in this incarnation, and today we officially transited the equinox. The sun entered Libra, and it did so with the moon in conjunction with Mercury, both in Libra. So this indicates that this opening for the next 3 months it is very focused. This contains also the cosmic guide that I mentioned in the video of the Virgo eclipse. But this is very focused in forms of reciprocity, both relational as in other areas of life. It is about understanding from which places we are giving and how we are receiving, because reception it is vital to be able to give. For example, if one have a creative project, we have to receive light in form of ideas, collaborations, resources, so we are able to give. And this could reach us in many ways. It is not always as we are, conceiving this in our minds. And this is important because we could put a limit to these ways of reciprocity. And of course, these circuits in which we are giving and receiving are established in relationships. It is just that for different reasons, according to our own paths and evolution, we are going to experiment imbalances that are going to be part of the growth. For example, if a person needs constantly being rescued from, their strong emotions, by other person, it is being established an emotional dependency when one of the parties is not learning to regulate his or her own emotions, and this is going to end up draining the person that is occupying the maternal or paternal role. I am I am saying this in Spanish, the role of the mother or the father. But if one of them or both of them are registering the imbalance, then they can, put it on the table and to generate a change. But there are also relationships that are creating like this comfort zone in the imbalance. A very typical example that I gave many times, it is a person that has as a familiar pattern to give and give and give a lot of energy. And this, could attract people that are reflecting the opposite. Perhaps there is no reciprocity or even selfishness. And in some way, the person that is giving could sustain this because it is conforming with a reception that is under his or her values, perhaps because the person doesn't believe to deserve. And it is a hypothetical example, but this kind of dynamics, if they are turning in a security area, they can be sustained for many time. And this ends up not only manifesting drainings of energy, but also chaos in other areas of life. Because if we are putting too much energy in some place, we are not going to be able to put that in others. So, this is the art of Libra, to recognize balance as constant movement. In some moments I'm going to have more focus in my family, in some others in my projects. It is about a recognition and to adapt ourselves to the evolution of the path, because if my project grows, perhaps I'm going to require to associate myself with other people because I cannot do everything alone. So the important thing with this energy is to learn to choose people with whom we can do this nourishing exchange, and with whom we have this capacity to accompany ourselves in growth, not because we are depending energetically of the other, or because we are seeing the other person as a means for, the obtaining benefits, or even, with this lack of consideration of the other, that this is like the contrary, of the energy of Libra. And we have to understand that these things, in certain instances of life, we could have transited this in very unconscious ways. For example, the benefit of the company because of the fear of being alone, even if their relationship it is not representing this substantial growth. So it is part of the path of the human experience to fit with other people from our conditionings, to discover which are our conditioned parts, and to, that are actually manifesting those kind of exchanges, and to let them go and to transform them. And a way of doing that, it is to observe what is really bothering me about the other person as a possible reflection or as a resource that serves for my path. Let's suppose, other example. Let's suppose that I have a conflict with a person in my job, because I am perceiving that that person, it is not doing enough, that is too much relaxed, that it is giving himself or herself a lot of freedom, and that really bothers me. That causes me anger. So perhaps that is reflecting the level of self-demand, of self-exigency. It is reflecting how I am not allowing myself to be in freedom in certain areas of life, or in that same area. And that is a way of assimilating situations and taking lessons. And well, then later, we can discover that that space is not for us, or it is, but we can approach that in a different way. And it is very curious how energy works, because when we are practicing that level of observation, and we can make choices from, what we saw, there are many dynamics and situations that are changing alone, without us to battle with that or forcing anything. So Libra is this dynamic and elegant dance. It is an integration of perspectives to put them in the scale and to understand what we need to regulate. What happens is that all of this is in the context of a Mars in Scorpio that is creating tension with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, which is shaking the waters of the unconscious, what was stagnated, what was rotten, hidden. So the tension with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius, when it is being shown in polarity, and certainly we are going to see dualities of ourselves and of other people. This could activate the sensation that others or external situations are taking away of me freedom, or that I have to control situations so I can finally feel free. And we are talking about experiences that are touching very deep fibers and very deep places of us, that can touch places that hurt, that can reemerge traumatical situations for us. So those emotions are reemerging again, it is redundant, and they are showing us something that we didn't assimilate. To find a new way to respond, to answer. So there could be a behavior that, like, we are defending ourselves excessively from what we are perceiving an attack, or attack for the same reason, because we are protecting something with which we are identifying. It is fear from both places, and we don't have to confuse this with healthy boundaries or to self-affirm, to use our strength, our force to create our place in the world. The thing is that with this square, this could be expressed in conflict, because perhaps we are giving too much power to something or to someone, or we want to have the power over something, like forcing things. And the power, the true power in here, emerges from allowing our shadows to be shown, the inner demons, the intense emotions, and to be able to choose how we are giving a space to those emotions, and how we are going to channel our force, and in which direction. This could be felt as a pressure to make decisions that actually represent freedom and authenticity. And that freedom with Pluto retrograde in Aquarius requires perhaps to face a fear and to transform ourselves. This is not comfortable, but it is necessary. Thank you, everyone. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.